Originally, they said, well, it's fairly minor and we got a handle on it. Now we realize this was a total meltdown. This was a total meltdown. If you remember the movie, when was it made? 80s or 70s? The China Syndrome?
Well, that's right. And right now, that's exactly what this is being referred to. Just yesterday on Russia Today, Paul Gunter was interviewed by Tom Hartman, and they both agreed this is clearly a concern because the molten center has gone down into the ground, and it is moving.
We really don't have the technology that I understand to really deal with this properly.
Well, the saddest thing about it is to put tents. They put tents over them. They put tents over them. That's how desperate they are, and that's how ill prepared. They put tents. You know, of course, it's just leaking and seeping radiation through the cracks. But this is totally unacceptable to have nuclear facilities, and it's so intertwined with the military. They feed off of each other. They're both creating more nuclear weapons. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Most Americans will say that's tough luck for the Japanese. Too bad for them, but we're okay over here. But that is not the case, right? And especially, I remember when it initially happened, they were talking about the trade winds and how the trade winds travel straight across the Pacific from that area and hit our west coast and go completely across the country. And then shortly after that, and remember there was a craze about getting potassium iodide pills. Mm-hmm. And people were rushing out health food stores buying those things.
Yeah, like crazy.
And then
a place in Pennsylvania is providing them for the entire community.
But you can't take that forever.
No, you can't.
It's dangerous to take it for a prolonged period. And if this stuff is continuing to get out into the atmosphere and continuing to go through these trade winds and drop down on us, and we have to go around our business. We can't hide in a house or something,
One of the experts, Joe Mangano, has already proved with his partner that there is already an infant mortality spike. There are babies being born dead. There are miscarriages happening up in the northwest of this country. And this started months ago. I think that's just a little bit of what we're going to be able to see. Even places like Arkansas had 1,000 times the acceptable amount of radiation that was already showing up in the milk, and that was 2 months ago. And you mentioned how the trade winds come directly across. Actually, if you look at the maps, it tends to go a little bit north, and
it goes up
and
first,
then,
yes.
But then, plenty of times it just comes right down through the center of the country. And I don't think we're going to see organic food. I think people really need to think about growing food in their homes as much as possible if they want to survive longer. I also wanted to just mention something that a public health official told me that she's noticed is happening. A lot of people are having hair falling out. She thinks it could be attributed to this, and she says that people just need to pay attention and to even ask the hairdressers in your towns if they've noticed extra amounts of hair falling out, because that is one of the first signs of radiation sickness.
Similar to somebody going through chemotherapy and their hair starts.
Well, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And now that you mention that, the doctor said just the other day that the amount of radiation that people are getting is similar to even 1,000 times more than directed radiation treatment for cancer.
That's here in the U.S.? Or in Japan?
That was in Japan.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, for those people, and you hate to say it, hate to see anything bad happen to anybody, whether it's here or anywhere else in the world, but you know a lot of people are going to be affected. And say a year or two, are we going to see thousands, maybe millions of cases of cancer popping up there?
According to Dr. Chris Busby and according to Dr. Mangano and other people, we are going to see many millions of people die from this. And you know,